G'day listeners, welcome to Barkarati, the sailing podcast. My name's Jordan Spencer and it's that time of the week where we get to hang out with some cool sailors, but of course I have to share the mic with my, well at this stage, one idiot mate. Let's bring him to the microphone.
He had a voice that could make a wolverine purr.
Mr. Nick Bice, how are you, bud?
He's not back. He's got to come back
soon. I'm hanging out.
But he will be back. Listeners, again, he's going to be back. It just so happened he would normally be back right now, but due to time of recording, he's actually at the Sydney Boat Show due to timings to make it work for the one good... The Jordan Spencer, currently lying Plymouth, United Kingdom.
Correct, indeed.
Correct.
Indeed. Actually...
Mate, just paint a picture for us, mate. Where are you exactly? Like, what's the time of day? What's on the cards?
I know where you're going. All right. So it's early in the morning, as you can tell by my voice.
A little hoarse. I picked up on that.
I have been
maybe one too many G&Ts last night.
It wasn't too bad. But I will tell you about last night. It was a good one, but also using my voice a lot to talk to punters.
Yes.
But if you want to live the dream of travelling the world, sailing events, I'll just give you a picture. Accommodation. I'm in student accommodation. I'm a fairly sizable human being. I cannot fit into the shower in the student accommodation I've got. The bed is...
Can't bend down, do up your shoelace.
Correct. There's room for a desk, a bed that's the size of a Japanese salmon. It's tiny. So I sort of just roll in and I'm wedged in. But if you're at sea, it's fantastic because you can't roll out of your bunk.
Cool.
And then this tiny room and then just wander down. But people are great, a lot of fun. Last night, we had a kind of Barkarati reunion. It was surreal. Conrad Coleman, one of our guests that's been on the show, and Dee Kafari and I worked quite closely together on this whole gig. They were just jabbering away because Conrad actually is from Plymouth and he's helping out on SailGP. And remember he was talking about the Bounty mutiny on his episode and saying how they recreated the whole tour. He's got the boat there, the recreation vessel, and
wow,
and he
this Plymouth that's his hometown, right?
Yeah, he's got his whole setup here. He's got where you can come and you can go for a sail in this thing. You can do team building stuff. So I think it's called Bounty Adventures or Bounty something, but definitely look it up. Anyway, so what Conrad did, and then Bruno Dubois. Conrad said, mate, you want to come for a barbecue? We'll go for a spin on the Bounty thing. And so, he sails across the harbour in this old sort of like, support boat for the Bounty.
Old cutter type setup.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right, copy, yeah.
And then he takes us, we go and anchor off near Drake's Island, go swimming, so it's Bruno, his partner, Harry's there, Dee's there. Then we go back to his setup, have a barbecue, drink wines, tell stories, and it was just glamour.
I'll tell you what, I'll let you off because I'm sure you had a few wines.
Yes.
Just to remind us that it's Conrad Humphreys, not Conrad Coleman.
Sorry, Conrad. Thank you. Conrad Humphreys, indeed it is. And he's just...
The other Conrad. Yeah.
Yes, sorry.
But no. That'd be good fun, mate.
It was really enjoyable, bud. It was really enjoyable. Cool boat. Just seeing some old mates and having a grand old laugh. Yeah, it was good fun.
I must admit, I'm a little jealous.
Yeah, you should be jealous.
I'd love to be over there.
I think. Well, I've had words, boss. And then all the boys after racing, where they go for a meal. There was some good conversation flowing last night. So while I was sitting around waiting to go out on this thing. I went up and I just sat down with a few of the boys and some fruity conversation, but I don't think I'll put it to air, is all I'll say.
Fair enough. Yeah. Just we'll keep that in the Secret Pros vault.
Yes.
For the time being.
Probably wise. Anyway, super cool. It's great. So in sunny Plymouth.
Beautiful. Love your work.
Shall I bring in our guest, boss?
Bring him in.
All right. Cool. We're kind of cool here today. This is going to be interesting. I reckon we've brought in some amazing guests, but this one...
Up the coolness level.
Up the coolness level, that's it.
Yeah.
So there's so many things to talk about. First off, the Newport Mafia, the US sailing world of the Newport Mafia. This guy is firmly entrenched in there. Won the America's Cup with Oracle, youngest member of that team, if that gives it away. What else? Done a couple of Volvo Ocean races, pretty prominent in the Moth worlds, the M32s. And the interesting one is, I think this could be true, the only person whose dad and him have won the America's Cup. I think that might be it. So let's find out. Let's get into the show and talk to our special guest, Rome Kirby. How are you, mate?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. It's simple. It's good to have you. You're a busy lad.
Yeah, like to keep it interesting, keep it fun.
I guess we've been sort of pretty keen to chat to you for a long while. Like as I said there, you did all those things, but also skipper of SailGP boat season 1, and now part of the team with Jimmy. But you've gone strangely absent. Anything going on that you want to give us?
Yeah, we in our finals in San Francisco, I separated my AC joint. Actually, in training, we were probably 3 days from the event. Separated my AC joint and sailed the finals with a separated shoulder, and I was getting shots into the joint every day, and then one in the side to get through racing. But yeah, the shoulders, I've had broken bones, I've stitches, you name it. But the shoulder was definitely a lot more painful than anything else I've dealt with before. I've had knees, ankles, you name it, but the shoulder was seriously painful, and I was just getting injected to get through the finals. But no, I took the first few events, and they're basically building the roster more or less, which is good. You're not going to get through a whole season, especially with all these events, if you don't have a deep roster. So yeah, we'll see. I think I'll probably be coming back later in the season. Right. But right now I've just got so much other sailing and work going on that I can't come back right away. So.
Oh. Well, I'll get the joke in before Bicey does. Bicey would say, I've separated my shoulder a few times before I, going to grab my wallet. Always separate the shoulder just before I grab the wallet. But obviously, you must have done something interesting, because those F50s, they crash hard.
Oh yeah, yeah. I basically we did kind of a tack barroway onto a reach, and
is that any particular name for that maneuver, Rome?
Yeah, I'll throw it out there. It's no secret. It's on TV. It's called the Dino, and a tack barroway. We didn't actually go for the full Dino. We didn't commit to the capsize, but we went for it.
To the full wipeout.
Yeah, we didn't go for the full. Yeah, nosedive to a sinking boat. Well, the boat was sinking briefly for a second there. I mean, I was in a pool. I'll have to send you guys a video. I got a clip of it. It's pretty close, as close as you can get without actually riding the boat off. But yeah, I basically we did the tack barroway along the reach, and obviously there's 3 different foot buttons and panels and whatnot where the jib can get eased, and the jib just got eased and the bow just started to get a little wafty, and the second you kind of ease the jib and it comes off the end plate, and then the fairings take over, and I was just
off you guys.
Pull the jib on, just winding rake off, and we bam planted it from probably, I want to say 45, maybe even 47, 48. And then I just got blown from my cockpit all the way back under the wing winch and steering pedestal. And I was pinned back there for what felt like 10 seconds I was underwater, but it was probably only like 2.
Yeah.
And it was just wedged up against there and ended up separating my AC joint. And yeah.
Well done.
Well, I'm surprised actually Jimmy hasn't brought in that, everyone just sits in their own side, just locked in completely. Install the Recaro seats, put the seat belts on. That's probably the next step, right, from a safety point of view. All other bases.
It's not far off.
Yeah.
Probably not far off, for sure.
Had a bit of a theory that, we'll see these SailGP boats just with one person at some point in time, just with a pod in the middle.
I've been saying it forever. Go tank commander, because you're in the pod in the middle.
Yeah.
You just have a little bubble. You just sit down there and...
Then there's no restriction.
Yeah.
It's true Formula One then, isn't it? Like that would be really interesting if it does. That could be the future. True Formula One. I'd be intrigued to see that. I reckon that's...
I'll be intrigued to see a gamer come along.
Yeah.
And just...
Smoke everyone.
Smoke.
With the... almost the word, the gamer thing, every time I think SailGP and we talk about flight controllers, I almost think that person needs to be a gamer.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. But I think we're actually a ways away, thank God, being a sailor.
Yeah.
Not quite there yet, because we all thought we were going to get replaced. But the dynamics of the boat and understanding kind of what's going on, you got to have
that feel.
You still got to have feel, and you got to be a sailor.
Yeah.
And you got to have a pretty good understanding, of the boat, situational stuff, because you're taking rudders on and off. There's so many settings and so much different stuff going on that, you got to be pretty switched on to it. And to chuck a gamer in there, probably they might have quicker, a half a second here and there. But, I'm happy we're not totally...
They'll have so much time. They'll be able to text their girlfriends or boyfriends on the shore whilst doing a Dino.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm down there sweating like,
Is it the hardest job on the boat?
I mean, Jimmy's said that. A few people have said that. I don't know if it's the hardest. I would say trimming the wing depends how your playbook's set up.
Look, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Let's not be politically correct here. Kyle Langford trims the wing on the Australian team and they still win. So let's just strip that right out and just know that that's a gimme.
As much as I would love to rag on Langers on the show, and I would just love to throw him under the bus, I can't. I would love to. The wing is, if you got a good wing trimmer, it's not an easy job. Definitely the flight controller and the wing trimmer. I would say the easiest job is probably driving the boat. That's the easiest job.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, it gets difficult when you get close quarters, not crashing into people and stuff like that. That at that speed, there's got to be a certain level of sort of really... fuck. Yeah, right.
Get
it close. Robin's racing.
Robin's racing. Oh, I love it. Oh, it's cool. It's... I don't want to get too deep into SailGP because you're not on there at the moment, but one thing... I do really want to get deep into. I don't know if you want to go down.
I'll be back. Not to interrupt, but I'll be back.
Yeah,
You'll see me.
Good.
You'll see me.
Yeah, to me, it's you being smart, right? You've just gone, well, let's forget this European section. Let's just go through, the Southern Hemisphere, go past where you got all that beautiful country, beautiful people, good cold beer.
Down there.
Yeah. That's what's going to happen. That's my theory.
Yeah.
We have to talk about you and your little dress up.
Oh, no. I thought this would be long over. This is like years ago.
I know, but it was a favourite moment for our podcast. Like, we just laughing our heads off. We thought it was fantastic. You can kill it if you want.
All the rumours that were going on, and then just these little tidbits that we were getting. Just seen Rome wearing a dress. Just seen Rome basically after, it was after Cows, wasn't it? Or something?
Yeah, we had the Cows event, and then it was like right after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. Just tell us to piss off.
Hopefully you guys don't have any pics of that, because I'm not sending any over. I'm sure if you text Slingers or Kyle, you'll probably get something.
Well, I think we did, but we've just been really nice to you. We haven't published them, let's be honest. So, now, we get in trouble, right? So we got a lot of listeners who join in, and we have been getting in trouble a bit lately where people say you got too many inside jokes. So let me just tell everyone what's going on. So to set the scene, there's a great movie, Christopher Nolan movies are just mind-blowing movies. I'm sure most people are fully aware of his movies, and there was one that came out called Tenet, which had a great sailing scene with the F-50s in. Now, the gist is, Rome, you were steering one of those boats, but you were dressed as a woman. That's the thing. And we were all excited. Our first news was, there's going to be F-50 sailing, and then the news hit that you were dressed up as a woman in it, and we just think, yes.
Yeah, it's true. It was not planned, but at the end of the day, I'll do a lot for money. When it comes to money, I got no shit.
We're only human. Hey, what I want to know...
Everyone's got a price. Everyone's got a price.
What I want to... Did you get the special treatment? Like, did you get to go to the premiere, like red carpet stuff, or you're just treated as the staff?
No, we had all that lined up. Slingers and I were going to the premiere. I was going to be Slinger's date. No.
Had a spare skirt.
COVID put an end to that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We were gonna go. I think we were going to Asia, London, and LA. I think they had us on the 3 premiere kind of tour, which would have been cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would have been a first. But,
shit, I would have worn a dress for that, mate. No worries.
You've worn it for less.
The bad thing, I put that whole thing I got that thing going.
Yeah.
Basically, we got the deal going. We had it done. It was inked. It was after cows, the whole deal. And there was so much secrecy around the scene that between Andy Thompson, who's the CFO of SailGP, myself, Russell, probably like 6 people really kind of knew what was Brad Marsh, kind of what was happening. And everyone was kind of, told we were going to shoot a movie scene and it was only going to be a week, turned into 2 weeks. It just became this big harangue. And basically the scene, we thought it was going to be like a 15-second or a 10-second scene, turned into I think it was like 30 or 40-second scene. And all of a sudden it was had some legs to it. And then event finishes, all that branding comes off, all the other boats get packed up, shipped off, and we stuck around. And all of a sudden, the film crews show up. It's a huge ordeal. It's unreal. You think the Volvo and the American stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And you think we're inefficient at times. I mean, these guys are so inefficient and just ass backwards. They just throw money at every problem. And there's a guy for each job. You want to shoot 2 seconds of film for the day, and you need 1,000 people just to get the cameras working and turn stuff on. And it's wild. Shit. But long story short, I come to find out, we get there and they're like, oh yeah, we need the actress to drive the boat and this and that. And the stunt double, she can drive the boat. I'm like, yeah, sweet. Perfect. all steered and lured. And they're like, well, she needs to drive the boat through the whole scene where we've got the boats close. And I'm like, cool. I'll, again, drive the lured. And I don't know if it was Brad Marsh. I'm not quite sure who it was. There were some liability talks that started to pop up. And I'm like, oh no, this is going to be so bad for me. I'm like, somebody else can drive. I'm like, yeah, no worries. They're like, nah, you're gonna have to be the stunt double to the stunt double. There's the kicker. I'm like, you kidding me? They're like, nope. And so one day I get rolled in there and they're like, yeah, you got to go into the makeup trailer. I'm like, what? You're in the makeup trailer? They're like, yep. you go into the makeup trailer. And I'm like, all right, well, this will be cool. There's Denzel's son, I forget his J.D. Washington, who's in like the show Ballers. He's in like, Kings. He's in all these like really top movies and shows. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I sit down next to him. I'm like, what's up, man? Sweet. Elizabeth Debicki sits down next to me. I'm in between the two of them. I'm like, oh, this is cool. And they're like, hey, put your leg up on the table. They start just shaving everything. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Literally got my legs shaved, my face shaved. They're like putting like bobby pin. I've never had my back of my head. I had a blonde like rat tail. This is no word of a lie. This is bad. The fact that I'm telling this, I'm just coming clean now because I know the pictures are going to come out. So I'm just going to own it and front foot this. So I get this blonde like rat tail and I'm like, holy Jesus. And they're like, yeah, you're going to have to wear this like short wetsuit. I'm like, you realize we're sailing out in Solent and you've got us out there for 12 hours and you've got me in a 1 mil.
Wow.
I'm like, that's not going to happen. I'm like, no chance. So then I had to put this like skin colored wetsuit on, which it was wild. It was like next level. And so I was in this skin colored wetsuit with another green, because they had to do the green screen stuff. So I had to wear like a green wetsuit over it. It was wild, but I had a blonde like full rat tail. And
yeah, good.
The breeze used to like, it felt like it was ripping the back of my, skull. Because the apparent wind, you'd have the thing and just, it was like at the end of the day, I'd come in, it'd be like hanging off.
It's like the end of a flag.
Just hanging out. Oh.
Yeah, what I love about this and the world of sailing is that once they dressed you up like this and you walked out, at least you could rely on your sailing buddies not to take the piss out of you. You know, like you could go out with complete confidence.
100% supportive.
Yeah, without a doubt. I was like, well, the one thing I can surely count on is like, second I walked out of there, the first person I see with his phone out, like he couldn't get his phone out. He almost dropped it in the water. It was so quick. He was so quick to the draw. He's like, ah! Slingers is right there. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah,
and it went out to everybody.
Yeah, no, I think we're on the list, mate. All I'll say is you need to be smart about this, right? You need to return the favour. You need slingers to be put into that role next time, right? So you need to... And I think what you created, like the fact that you got this all together and it created it has led on to more sailing scenes in movies, because I think the new Top Gun, I noticed Mike Martin and I think, was it Jimmy got they got credit for their sailing input, on the water, I think.
San Francisco, yeah.
Yeah, Larry and Jimmy.
I actually I recently just saw the movie. I saw it last week, actually. And, I mean, it was funny because it says they're in San Diego. I'm like, hey, that's San Francisco. Oh, bullshit on it. I'm like, I know that place. That's not San Diego.
See that current line? That's not.
Yeah.
So
the sailing, it's good. It's, there's more sailing scenes, popping up in big time Hollywood movies.
Yeah. So
that's not wind.
So here's the pitch. Here's the pitch. It just dropped into my head this very second. You get to the producers or whatever they call the people behind, what's that thing called Pitch Perfect, where those women, they sing in a cappella.
Oh, yeah.
Yep,
I think
right.
You are right.
Pitch Perfect, right. And then you get them to put a sailing scene in and you get slingers in. So not only does he have to dress up,
but he's got to sing as well.
He's got to sing. I like it.
You could get in.
Maybe
we could
do a remake of the classic Wind.
Oh.
In current format, sailing format. So instead of doing 6 knots, you're doing 46 knots.
Oh, I've got the plot,
including a singing scene. Oh, go ahead. Sorry,
the plot
Rome. Here we go. Another idea.
the challenge, right? It's a challenge, okay? So the Newport Mafia, all you boys, set up a team and you get a singer, let's say Nick Dana's wife, right? Right? So you've got your team and one singer, and then you challenge the Pitch Perfect crew and they get all the singers and one sailor, slingers, and just see who comes out best, and it's a double. So you have a sing-off and a sail-off. It's
Hey, rightio. Hey, Rome, here we go. This is why we have not made any money, mate. Stupid ideas like this.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Hey.
Back to the audience. So, Rome, you've been doing probably, almost for the last 10 years, just 50 knots everywhere. Been on pretty much every high-performance boat out there. And but prior to that, where did it all kick off? Were you always in the fast boats, or started off in the Shields? 49ers were in there at some point in time, but it's always been pretty high performance, right?
Yes, always been high performance, but it started in the slowest boats known to man, the Optimist.
Yeah, well,
where it all started.
You know what an Optimist is good for? It's
years. Ice.
Yeah, an esky. Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah, exactly. Either the rum and No, I got in a Opti the other day during the not 4th of July, the weekend after. They were sailing around in the cove, and this kid comes by, a family friend, and I was like, "Hey,
I'll have a crack.
Yeah,
get over here.
Hey, come here." I couldn't get under the boom. I had to ease the main out so much just to get up and under the thing, and did one roll tack and sank the boat. But yeah, no, it all started in the Opti, and then 420, and then a bit of the 29er stuff, and then all the way up, and and then basically I didn't really start sailing big boats till I was in my teens. It was all little dinghies, and the big boat stuff kind of started, mid to late teens, and I was just a shit kicker, and was fortunate enough to be around some good guys and learn, and the big boat's definitely a different game. You're not dealing with highly loaded stuff. It was a good education early because that kind of set me up and actually helped me along the way, because I ended up doing the Volvo probably 4 or 5 years later, which was good because I had no idea. I was actually fortunate enough to go, follow around Bicey and Coxie a little bit and get put in my place. But I was fortunate enough to do some of the 12-meter stuff here, which was wild. Yeah. I had no idea what I was doing. I'm like, you want to either do the sewer for a bit? I was like, yeah, quickly.
Yeah, sure. Sewer. Bring it on.
That job. And then they're like, hey, you go back there and, you do the runner. I was like, yeah, okay. I had no idea what I was doing, but you learn pretty quickly with highly loaded stuff.
Yeah. So during this time, your old man was pretty active in yachting, kind of at the end of his America's Cup career.
Yeah.
And sailing on a lot of big boats with a bunch of his mates as well. So you had some pretty good, putting myself and Coxie to the side for the minute, but you had some pretty good mentors within Newport.
Yeah.
In more ways than one, both on and off the water, I'm thinking.
I had some pretty interesting mentors along the way. I've been pretty fortunate to have some pretty good ones. Probably some pretty bad influences as well at times. But no, I've had great mentors. I've a lot of the guys from, think of Mike Topa, one, probably Simon Dobney's another. If it wasn't for Dobbs, I probably wouldn't have gotten some of those big boat rides. He dragged me along and was really, really kind of was like, come on, kid, you're coming with me. And got to learn from some really good guys. Even Brad Butterworth along the way has been a really good mentor. Those guys have been pretty forthcoming. Like, they've helped out from the business side to contracts to, sailing playbooks, tactically, you name it. Those guys have been there, done it. And they've been so helpful along the way. And, now we're kind of not the old guys in the sport, but, I look at kids coming in, they're 22, 23. I'm like, shit, I'm already 33. Like, whoa, where'd that go? Been at it for 13 plus years. So pretty wild. But no, some really good mentors and pretty fortunate to be in and around those guys from a young age, which is pretty cool.
I should just, for those who don't know, so your dad Jerry was 6 America's Cups, three Volvos, I think it was. So did you have a choice? Like when you were a little fella, did he give you the baseball glove, the ice skates, and then the boat and say you pick, or it was just do whatever you want?
Yeah,
is that pretty much explaining your brothers? You took the boat bit. One took motocross, the other took surfing.
That's pretty much. It was just I was just the moron that took sailing. You're the idiot that picked wrong. No. But actually, my old man was really he pushed me into hockey. Actually, he was kind of like because we were actually much better at academics was always there, and we had to always get by school.
Yeah.
But I was never an A student. I was always just getting by. The athletics was more my thing. And
can I just say? Sorry, Rob, just to talk over there. I apologise. Can I just say, looking at your teeth, you clearly didn't go down the hockey path.
Now, well, a couple of them are fake.
Okay.
So, yeah. So they're a little shinier than I got a couple. There's half a tooth there. Oh yeah.
All right.
I've had my fair share of punch-ups and
continue, mate.
hockey.
Sorry to step over you.
Yeah. No, but he was pushing us away from sailing. Actually,
right.
He was kind of like, oh shit, they picked sailing.
Right.
But it's luckily it's worked out, so it's not that bad.
So I do want to ask, while we're sort of here around Newport, you said your brother picked surfing, and I know you're mad for surfing. How do you get into surfing in Newport? Like, I have wandered around that coast looking for a wave, and every time I go to Newport, I'm trying to work it out, and I'm just looking at the water going, there's no way I'm getting in there. That's so cold. Is it? Like, how do you take up surfing where you are, mate?
You get a thick wetsuit, you toughen up.
There you go, Jordan. Just shove that in your pipe.
As you guys would say, you harden up and get in.
Yeah.
But no, I mean we've got most people. I don't need to promote this, and I don't want to promote this because the Newport Mafia, as you call them, I might get crucified for this. But there is pretty good hurricane surf here, and we try and keep it under the radar.
Yep, fair enough.
It's definitely not consistent. We don't have consistent waves. I mean, we get waves on a probably weekly basis, but it's not, especially in the winter, you won't see me put my winter wetsuit on until it's pumping.
Yeah.
I will not get in the water until it's like real.
Well, I won't say anything, Rome, because, I don't want to give anything away, but I'm not saying just behind me there is, really good surf break.
I get it.
Yeah. And the fact that...
Take the notos, Rome. We're about to hook in for a story.
No. And we wear wetsuits about 1 month a year, so I'm not going to say that that's the case, that's...
Yeah.
I don't want to advertise any of that, but
we don't wear... There's 1 month a year where we don't wear wetsuits, and we're in it right now because it's 95 degrees and disgustingly hot out. And it's just humid as can be. But those nasty summer days.
So are you much chop on a surfboard, or what's your style?
I can get around. I wouldn't say I'm good, but I grew up with the kind of Kelly, Aki. I'm more into the power surfing. I'm not. My brother can rip 360 errors and do all that stuff.
No interest.
Every once in a while, I'll throw a straight air and think I'm pretty hot shit, but I'm like, nah. I'd rather go blow my fins out and go surf on a double overhead day and just go rip. And
Nice.
you won't see me on the little waves trying to like pump a million miles an hour down the face or down the line and try and blow air. I'm also too lazy for that.
All right. Let's go back to sailing.
Back to the Odyssey. Yeah. So first time then, you broke the 50 knot barrier.
First time.
Or was it a kind of step? So one, when you're on the 72s, I guess you're starting to push some pretty high heat then.
Yeah, I know we did 49. We actually, I think Fresh, you guys know Fresh.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So Fresh, legendary Australian sailor. Fresh was head, I'm pretty sure he was head of performance for us at Oracle in 13. Yep. And I think he said we nearly cracked 50 on our last bearaway in the Cup. But I could be wrong. Don't quote me on this, but I'm fairly confident it was our last bearaway of the America's Cup. And we did like something like 49.7 or 40, something close to 50. And we had one rudder out of the water, but that was before the days of having differential and you name it. We were so squirrely. Looking back, it's wild. We had no idea what the hell we were doing. But I think we came pretty close in the 70 to cracking 50. It wouldn't surprise me if we almost cracked 50 and we didn't quite know it, but he said we got close in the last bearaway, which we were pretty close on the 72s, but and I don't remember on the 50 when the first time was for us. I'm pretty sure we were.
Do you think back now, you look at the 72 and just, we were so loose compared to the control you have these days?
Yeah. You looking at the 72, we didn't know what we didn't know.
Yeah.
We just I guess we were pioneering it at that point.
Yeah.
We had no clue. We were just like, yeah, I think this will work. Let it rip. Well, you either destroy the boat, capsize it, or write it off, and you're like, well, that didn't work.
Won't be doing that one again.
Yeah. But yeah, it was, compared to what we do now, so loose. And we definitely had a little bit of a taste. Like I remember when we came back for a training session, I want to say in 2014, before we moved to Bermuda, and we turbocharged the AC-45, which then led to doing the Cup in the 50. Because initially it was going to be 65s at that point. We were going to, or 62. Something like that. I don't even remember. So many iterations. You can't keep up. It's bad when, the guys actually doing the Cup can't keep up with the rule changes.
Yeah.
And you're in the midst of it.
Yeah.
Like, how's the public supposed to follow along?
Yeah.
But, we got to San Francisco and we were sailing the 45s. And I think that's when Larry made a decision because we were ripping that thing around. Jimmy wasn't even signed yet. Jimmy Spithill wasn't signed. It was Slingers and bunch of us who were literally probably 28 and under just ripping this 45 around the bay, like throwing the thing around. There's some old pictures. I'll have to send you guys. It was pretty cool. We had they basically took the steering wheel off the 72. So it was this big steering wheel on the tiny little 45. But that kind of really started that whole smaller Grand Prix. That really got this whole thing started, in my opinion, because then we went to the 50s in the Cup, and then, it was kind of a size where it was like, you could sail it with, 4 or 5 guys, and you could really throw the things around, and pretty damn cool. We were ripping around doing 40 some odd knots in the 45 that we just turbocharged, and at that point, we still didn't know that much. And so as, kind of you go down the line, now with the 50s, we've got differential. We've got so many different controls.
Yeah.
And, it's just going up and up and up. And I think it'll only get faster with these cavitation speeds and, new boards and foils coming online. So, yeah. The big thing will be safety. I know you mentioned that earlier, Bicey, but the safety side will be a big one.
Well, I guess Bermuda was like the big oracle in the whole, pardon the pun, but it was the whole 100% flight around the course. That was the big thing. And now it's just a bit of a norm unless there's some sort of murr happening, like in the 50s.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, unless you're in a, for SailGP at an event now, if you're not flying the boat nearly 100% of the time, when the breeze is above kind of, I want to say 8, 9 knots, you're either probably in the back of the fleet trying to seal yourself out of the back of the fleet. But if you're in the top 3 to 4, there's no reason why you're not flying the boat the whole time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I got this. I was thinking about strategically sailing these things because obviously, much as I want to, I hang out at SailGP a lot and I'd love to go for a sail, but you can't because you've got to go and do all the days of safety training before you can get out on the thing. But so the observation,
and you got to wear a helmet.
Yeah, you got to wear a helmet and it won't fit on my head.
They haven't got one big enough.
Yeah. So, with apparent wind sailing, downwind, you're always just trying to get in front of the pressure, right? Like, with just normal downwind apparent sailing, what we've evolved into. But now with these things, it's the same upwind, I reckon. Like you're just trying to stay in pressure on these falling boats because the difference in speed is so much the minute you slow down. So you've got to stay in front of pressure. And I think that's the tactics now for these things. That's what I've worked out.
Yeah, I mean, one, and maybe, some people may disagree, but it's really about simplifying these, how you sail tactically. It's so easy to overcomplicate it. And the boats are so hard to sail as is that you're almost trying to simplify the whole game. And you see a lot of people either come into the class or, and they try and really make it, at the end of the day, it's sailing. We're a bunch of morons anyway. So it's like, if we can do it, anyone can do it. But you're just trying to simplify it because they're hard enough to sail as is. You don't need to make it harder than it is. And you're just trying to really keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
And I joke about it, whether it's in sailing or business, but always dumbing it down and really keeping it simple and having a playbook you can always fall back on, but, really keeping it clean and keeping it simple. Because usually if you stick to the basics, you get the results. And when you start trying to do too much, that's when it bites you.
Yeah, very cool. Mate, one of the things that I find interesting is like when you look at all the boats, like we're focused in on the foilers, but you've sailed, you've done all the offshore with the Volvo, you're part of the Rambler program, I'm pretty sure, all the high performance dinghies, the Moths. What's the best sailing experience you've had? Where's the one thing that sort of you go, oh yeah, that was just unreal?
It's tough to pick one because, you go sail with such good groups, good boats. It's all, I love the Moth. I love just getting out and letting it rip on the Moth. When you have a good day on the Moth, it's unreal.
Yeah.
But there's also, Bicey can attest to this. It's the second you get a 70 or a Rambler out and, I remember having a watch where everyone was behind me. We broke the record on the Caribbean 600, I want to say in 2018 on the 88. And we had a reach where my watch was on deck. And we had 2 hours where I literally got on deck, got the wheel, and it was like 120 true. We had 2 reefs in the main, the J4 up, and I think the staysail inside of that. And we were just doing 28 knots, just flat water and just hammering. And there's so many cool experiences because I really do. I've been, I haven't done as much offshore in the last probably 3 to 5 years than, I did at the beginning of my career, but I miss it. And, I got a huge place for it in my heart. I love offshore and each kind of aspect of sailing I love. I love the offshore stuff. I love the inshore stuff, the dinghies. I don't think I can pick one. We're all pretty fortunate to go sail on some pretty wild boats. And I wouldn't say there's necessarily one. The 50s are super cool. That's great. That's been a huge part of my life the last 3 to 5 years. And then, but offshore, I got to say the 70s, like back when the 70s were racing, that was some wild sailing. Those boats were seriously cool. And then, unfortunately the 70s went away and the 65s, it was all good racing. I never spent a ton of time on the 65s, but spent enough.
After chatting a bit with Charlie and Amory, who've been on the new boat, the new IMOCA boat.
Yeah.
Any desire for that, or it's just now that's another level?
I definitely have a desire to do that. It looks super uncomfortable, but it's kind of mixing both worlds together a bit.
Yeah.
I would be pretty keen for a leg or two for sure.
A leg or two. I love it.
And I haven't thought about it, and there was some small conversations, but we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out, whether it all, comes around. We'll see.
Have you gone for a spin on one of the IMOCAs or on that boat?
I've been hammering Charlie. I'm like, come on, man, get me out there. They leave on Sunday, so I got to give him a nudge this week and go for a sail.
Yeah, go for it.
Sea breeze is in. It's pumping right now, so
Charlie.
I got to get him out there.
So what's Charlie been doing since he's been there? We saw the Bermuda race, and what's he just been doing, hanging out, going to music concerts in the meantime?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know what he's been doing. He's he was up at Fenway Park last time but yeah, I think they've been doing the full dog and pony show, the sponsor tour.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Got to keep that money coming in.
That's right.
Well,
I think myself, Bicey and Coxie almost destroyed that whole 11th hour fun show when we were in a restaurant at two tables next to each other when he was with Susan Schmidt, and I think poor old Charlie's just looking at us going, settle down, you idiots, just settle down. You remember that night, Bicey?
Yeah, we'll blame that on Pete Burling and Blair Chook, actually.
Which stopover were you guys at?
No, that was in Alicante before the start, so I almost blew it before it began. Yeah.
I remember I was there for about 48 hours. Yeah, I was there.
All right, I want to get into, obviously, we know what's going on with you a bit, so I guess within reason you can talk about what you're up to without giving too much away, but, let's just say you look at your LinkedIn, for example, you've got your Boatworks, you've got this new thing called Apparent Wind Partners. What's going on? What are you doing? You've got too much time on your hands, mate.
Way too much time. No, I started a private equity group, so we buy marinas and shipyards up and down the eastern seaboard, and we've got a couple now that are in the Cape. So in Massachusetts, like as you go out of Rhode Island towards Cape Cod, got a couple out there, and then I've got a marine service business, and we're building a big 24,000 square foot kind of new state-of-the-art building that will, we are a dealer for Seakeeper stabilizing gyros. We do all sorts of stuff, big custom refits, you name it. I stay clear from the sailing.
Get away from the yachties.
Now, if you got an engine, come see us. If you got a rig, you can go to Safe Harbor or somewhere down the road.
So just to put a little, so your old man in construction, right? I've seen a few blokes knocking up a house, and 10 mil here and there doesn't matter, right? We're all good. Whack a nail in. Building a boat, millimetre perfect. Yep. So is that almost the difference between yachties and powerboaters as well? So you can get away with a little bit more in the powerboat world.
Yeah, then
you can't even get
the
close to
aren't quite the same.
Cutting a corner with the yachties.
No, there's less cutting a corner because we brought in everyone from our side of the world. So the quality's there. But they're like, wait, I don't have to be within, 100th of a,
to measure for some stupid bloody rule.
Yeah. And you're like, wait, it's got to weigh what? And it's got to, nah, no rules. If you're at all if you're at all concerned, throw another layer on.
Yeah. Composite tank.
We need some more glass on that. Still lighter than what the manufacturers do.
I love it. I think I do have to ask, obviously to just create a private equity fund, you've obviously got to have created a brand. You can't just go and knock on people's door and say, oh yeah, invest this money, because that's equity is people's money. So, how do you get to that situation, set up what did you do? Like, you put out a prospectus, or you just say, "Hey, I'm Rome Kirby, join the program."
Give us some cash.
Yeah. How does it work?
Here's money. No, I mean, kind of, it was a lot of things that led up to that. COVID being one of them, running SailGP USA and kind of being the CEO for those years leading up, and, doing all that stuff. I kind of was tapping into the business side and really leaning into that side, which I really enjoyed. And, from doing the tenant deal to other sponsorship stuff and really getting the thing rolling. And then obviously COVID, and then I started kind of consulting for a lot of these private equity groups that have been getting into the marina shipyard world, because that's kind of been the next thing, because Safe Harbors led the way. They've kind of paved the path on that side here in the States, and now they're expanding over to Europe and you name it. So I was kind of consulting for these groups, and I quickly realized that wasn't, a long-term thing. It was great at the time, and kind of took all that stuff I learned over those 6 to 9 months, and, really I looked for a partner and got a partner, and he came from JP Morgan. He was in debt financing there, and, we kind of started this thing up, and we spent a while really working on our thesis and making sure our, I's were dotted and our T's were crossed. And then, we went out and, you name it, you got to have security lawyers. It's a mission. It's a big undertaking, and it's no joke, but it was something that, I was like, I want to lean into this and do it. I just saw it as another challenge, and being super competitive. I like challenging myself in other ways than just competing on the water. I still love on the water stuff, but it was kind of another way for me to go be competitive in another world. And COVID, I wasn't, we weren't doing a ton of sailing. We were just sailing the M32s here in Newport, which was really probably the only sailing at the time going on. They were running it out of Midtown, and now we have, a nice little circuit here. And we're all going over to Europe here soon, and then the World Championships. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun to kind of lean into the business side and really start something from nothing. And it's pretty cool to get the buy-in from other people, especially when you're literally starting from nothing. It's wild. It's a roller coaster ride, and it's pretty stressful at times. You're like, oh shit.
Probably in comparison to sailing a super yacht, you've got the owner of the super yacht, right? And your job as a yachtie is to entertain the owner, keep them keen, keep them interested, make sure they have a good day. So, the next day you're going to go out and the owner's going to be stepping on board, loving life. So I'm guessing that there is some sort of parallel here, right? You got to keep your investors happy. So you're basically still in the entertainment business, Rome.
Nothing's changed. No, the super yacht guys, at least there's no return on their investment.
Yeah,
so
sure.
They're like, oh wait,
I'm happy to see it go out.
I don't get any money out of this. I'm just shelling it all out. All right, we're cool. As long as I'm having a good time, we're good. Yeah, we unfortunately have to show a return. We gotta generate some money. So it's not far off though.
So you're not making money yet. Oh, welcome to Baccarati's business model.
Yeah. Been thinking about it for a long time. We're pretty good at it.
Yeah.
And this particular plan.
It sounds very grown up, mate. So here's the theory that you could do. You could actually have this as your business goal. Boss is just going, oh shit, here he goes again.
Okay, here we go.
You could do the next round the world race, ocean race, and make it that they only stop at your marina. So you could get to the stage where you could have enough marinas around the world that have to stop at your marinas the whole way around. How's that for a goal?
This is a great idea. I think this is a winner. It would be we'd be racing around the eastern seaboard at this point, but
Newport to Boston.
Yeah, Newport to not even that far. We'd be going a little 20-mile leg over here and a 15-mile.
Just got to watch the whale exclusion zone.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We probably wouldn't even be able to do it because we'd be excluded from I love that idea, though.
Yeah, no, you could just do marina to marina regatta and just watch it grow over the years. So that'd be the go. So,
I love this idea.
Maybe the World Yacht Rally. We could name a few marinas that you could start looking at, right?
I think this is a great idea.
Yeah. Well, easy. With the name Apparent Wind, mate, that's the secret to sailing is mastering apparent wind. So is that the secret to running a marina business, mastering apparent wind?
Well, I don't know. We like the name. Well, we initially, our initial name, we got sued after we did our first deal because we got a lot of press from it.
Oh, would you call it Nike or something?
No, I'm dead serious. I'm not taking the piss. I'm dead serious. We're VMG Capital.
Oh,
and, there was a VMG Partners out in San Francisco, and they had a pending trademark. And we got a lot of press around our first marina in that world. And we found out our lawyers, I get a call from our corporate lawyer, and he's like, hey, we got a bit of an issue. What? He's like, yeah, VMG Capital. He's like, some pricks out in San Francisco are VMG partners. And I'm like, what? I'm like, we did a trademark search. Like we checked in on all this stuff. He's like, yeah, I guess it's pending. I'm like, well, how do you find out if it's pending? Like, how would we? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
he's like, dude, you don't. And he's like, this shit just happens sometimes. And I'm like, all right, what are we gonna do? He's like, well, we can fight it and go toe to toe with an 800-pound gorilla because they own the bar, like Kind bars and Spindrift seltzers and all that stuff. Like they own a bunch of, and they're out in San Francisco. And funny enough, their cover photo on their website was us going around the top mark in the no word of a lie.
With you on board.
Literally runner, yeah. And I'm like, motherfuckers. I don't know if we're allowed to swear, so I apologize to the audience. But I'm like, these motherfuckers. I'm like, that's bullshit. And so our corporate lawyer's like, well, I mean, we could run it at them. And I'm like, what do you think it's going to cost? He's like, well, we got to get like a trademark lawyer. And so there's, of course, again, in the US, there's someone for every little. I'm like, here we go. And you just see the dollar signs just start. And I'm like, we just closed on our first one. We're like, we're just getting going. We don't need to piss away any money. So we just did the name change, which was so much easier. And we went from VMG Capital to Apparent Wind Partners because we actually, funny enough, we bought, how we do these things structurally from a business standpoint. They're kind of one-off deals right now instead of buying or going and raising $100 million or $200 million. We go and basically just raise the money for that deal.
Yeah.
Until we get a lot more scale and do it on a big time, which I'm guessing we're probably not too far away from that in the near future, probably a year or two away. But we bought the entity, the name of the business, it was Apparent Wind. So it was Apparent Wind Investment One, and we were just going to do, through like 4 or 5. And so we were like, oh, we'll just change our name to Apparent Wind. And it just kind of happened. It was a quick fix. And now it's kind of stuck, and we're like, hey, it's good. All right, it works.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I won't tell you how much research we put into the name Baccarati.
One Google search.
Yeah, no. Actually, that is a funny story because we got asked to do what they call it, audition tape for a TV show, to host a TV show. Pilot, that's it. And going in, we had all these great ideas, and we thought, oh, shit, we don't want them to take all our ideas and just drop it. So we thought, let's create a name and then register everything. And literally we did that as we're standing outside to walk in. What should we call it? And it was just, I said, let's just call it Baccarati, like in the bar, all this crap. And yeah, no one's ever put those two words together before. I can't believe it. So that was the full extent. About a 15-second of thought was how Baccarati came about.
Nice.
So, like Jordan said, it's a bit of a grown-up's job.
It is.
Is it going to still allow you to do a whole bunch of sailing?
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's actually been pretty nice in that it complements the sailing. The sailings, I've been able to kind of do both. We've a lot of our some of our investors are actually I still sail for. So
should open up some pretty nice networks.
The old sailing has helped. It's a good starting point. And that was kind of part of me doing it. It's like, okay, how do you leverage what you've done in sailing and the network you have, and how do you build on that? Because there's so many sailors that actually have a lot of skill sets that aren't just sailing, and I don't think a ton of sailors realize that. You look at guys like Bicey, and you can go out, you can run, whether it's a build team, you can put together just the logistics that go into and kind of thinking through the process of all this. It's transferable to so many other businesses that most people don't realize that. They're kind of like, I got to stick in the sailing world because I got to go make a day rate. I got to go get on the hamster wheel, and it's hard to get off it because you're on it. You're making a day rate. You can put your kids through private school. You can make a good living, but then you're like, shit.
Too scared to get off. Don't know where the next one's coming from.
That's the thing is like you don't know, but a lot of guys have the skill set to go be really successful elsewhere. It's just having the balls to go commit to it. And you gotta have the sack to go do it because it's not easy. And I always call it the rubber band effect. You go kind of put some time elsewhere and you're stretching the rubber band. Whether it's for me it was during COVID. But you're stretching it out from a financial, you're like, I'm not making much money sailing. I'm reinvesting elsewhere. You're stretching the thing. You're like, I hope it comes back. Hopefully this thing doesn't snap. But, you just kind of got to commit to it and, buy into it and believe in yourself. And there's a lot of guys in sailing that are super smart that can go do stuff elsewhere. So it's not, And I personally think, not to kind of spear off, but the landscape of sailing's drastically changed kind of pre-COVID, but definitely post-COVID. I think you're seeing a lot of owners willing to do smaller boats, but you're not seeing as many Maxi 72s. You don't have owners, necessarily doing the Comanches anymore and the Ramblers. And, there's no new boats getting built like that. It's maybe one every 5 years now, maybe, and you got to kind of have an owner that comes along and, buys into that. And, other than Scorpios, there's no new boats that have been built in the last 5 years on that level. I mean, not that I can think of, unless you guys know, but the sailing's changed.
Cruising boat scene's just gone ballistic, mate.
Yeah.
Hence, they all need marinas.
Yeah. You're onto it.
Hey? Not silly. Not silly.
I need docks. I got dockage. You need it. I'll see ya.
Actually, I need about 30 in Adelaide in about 15 months' time, if I could.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure I can pull that one off, but
no, it's giving me an idea.
One day.
It's giving me an idea.
One day.
Mate, we're sort of coming to the end of our time. So I guess the one question I need to ask is what's next? Is the focus still professional sailing, or is it the business? What are we gonna see next?
Ooh, I would say I'm gonna probably kind of let it run its course. I'm fully committed with our team, the M32 team, through not this world, the worlds after. So that's a pretty full schedule. We pretty much have an event a month.
Right.
We've had an event 2 weeks ago. We've got an event next week here. We then fly over and have an event in Garda at the end of August. So we're nearly an event to an event every month and a half. And then we've got the Worlds in Portugal. And then we're back here in Miami all winter, back up in Newport, Worlds here. I mean, it's full on. And then I kind of told Jimmy, I can't do, because I've got a couple other sailing commitments in and around here right now. And also I want to go offshore a little bit, selfishly. But you'll see me back at SailGP potentially, if they actually want me back at that time.
Yeah.
Jordan goes through that all the time. It's like, I wonder if they want me back.
But unfortunately I couldn't do Denmark, and I would have loved to with those guys and started in Denmark. But I'm too busy with work and the sailing that I do have right now that it's basically I'm gone, because if you do SailGP in the M32s, you're basically gone, or at least with our schedule, the team I'm with, I'd be gone from, and my wife's also, we're having a baby girl in mid-October, so I'd be gone from basically next week all the way through, end of October. So I don't think that'd fly.
Be tough.
Well, have the baby on your own. Good luck. See ya.
I'm out.
Oh, and by the way, I'm going to leave you with a house reno. No house to live in. I'm out.
Perfect. She signed up for it.
She did.
That's right.
And I'm very fortunate. She's the middle sibling. She's got 2 older brothers and 2 younger brothers. So there's not much that I do that even phases her. So.
Yeah. Mate. And that is good.
Yeah. So.
I love it.
Cool.
Oh, man, that's a ton of fun. But I guess it sounds like we'll see you at some stage, but it'll be a while yet. But best of luck with all of it, mate. It's an impressive what you've got going on in your little workflow there.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. We'll see how it plays out, but always keeping it interesting.
Yeah.
That's right. I think the saying is bite off more than you can chew and just chew like fuck. Love it, Rome.
Yep.
Chew like crazy for our
Chew like
audience.
crazy. Chew like crazy for the children.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Awesome, Rome. Love it, mate. Look forward to catching up at some point.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it. It's been fun.
Cheers. Wins the banter competition, right? Like, good bloke to chat to.
Yeah.
Worldly, like just a young fella still, only, what was it, 33?
And just onto
but
it.
worldly for sure. And I mean, one question I forgot to bloody ask him is about whether he's had any pressure from the people in Newport for jumping off the Portsmouth Bridge, as his old man did back in the day. Whether that is true or rumoured, because he was apparently running late for a race. The only way to get on the boat was to stop the car halfway over the bridge. Well, halfway over, she's bloody high, so only a few over, and jump over the side, jump on the boat, go yon. So I wonder if that's been replicated. No, but good talk. Professional in all ways, actually. Anyway, and leveraging, pivoting off what he's picked up in the yachting game to take that across to a professional world is impressive.
Yep. No, I really enjoyed that talk. Really enjoyed that talk a lot. I guess it might be a little bit confusing for the listeners how my voice sounded quite normal during that interview, and now it's back to sounding hoarse again.
Well, it's the magic of podcasting. Let me tell you.
Continuity.
So for the listener, we recorded Rome just earlier in the week, and now just to kind of stay on top, you know, finger on the pulse with everything happening in Yachty, we'd like to do the outro at the end of the week just to make sure we don't miss anything good. Speaking of good, SailGP, mate. Time of recording coming into the final day. What have you seen out there? Is it something that's anything blown you away, or same old, same old?
There's a lot going on. Do you want? Should we go through our other news and stuff?
And then we can have a
full discussion on it. Yeah, because I do want to mention in club events the big news for the Ilkas. So the Ilka sounds like a member of a Swedish dance company, if you ask me. But
it's actually row 7, aisle 4 at IKEA. You can grab yourself an Ilka.
Well, the Adelaide shop better be stocked, because the big announcement, and this is exciting because obviously we're all ex-Adelaide boys, Adelaide Sailing Club is going to be hosting the 24 International Laser Class Association, the ILCA World Championships. So that's includes the Australian Open Youth Champs, the Oceania Champs, 1st to the 10th of January 24. The Sevens, the Masters Worlds, so the ILCA 7 Worlds, 24 to 31st Jan. Then the Ilka Master World Champs 2 to 9 Feb. It's a good time of year to be Adelaide Sailing Club. It's a gutsy call. You and I both know that sailing in Adelaide that time of year, you're guaranteed to be eaten by a shark. At least half the fleet will be eaten by a shark. Is probably
especially at the wing mark.
At the wing mark,
tip her in.
Yes. Yeah, it'll be feeding zone. No, look,
feeding frenzy.
No,
I must say, pretty phenomenal job by the board of management at the Adelaide Sailing Club to drag such an event.
Yep.
No, actually,
that's you, wasn't it?
Bugger all to do with the board. No, Commodore Pete Royal and his compatriot Vice Commodore Malcolm Hughes.
Oh, yeah.
And the whole com at Adelaide Sailing Club put a lot of work into this, and it's great to see something like this coming to town.
Yeah, so for the listeners overseas who are thinking of coming, it'll be really hot. It's that time of year in Adelaide can be extremely hot. Adelaide offers great food, unbelievable wines and food, and the sailing conditions out there can be quite varied. So you get really nice sea breezes there. It can chop up a little more than most parts of the coast, but so your little short punchy chop. So you'll need to be fairly fit with your hiking, but yeah, it should be great. Accommodation, not a bad spot for accommodation as well. So it's you'll be all right. It'll be good fun. You've got it all. So. Arrange for the hotels, all hotels, or even there's a caravan park right next door, a huge one with a lot of activities for the kids in there as well. So. A good win for Adelaide.
Absolutely.
Radelaide, as we like to say.
So, that is our activity of the week.
Yep.
Event of the week.
Yep, club event. Great one. Jack Lloyd Listener of the week.
Had a couple roll in this week, mate. We've got one from Chris Gartenman. Apologies for the bad pronunciation.
This is a good one. This is a nice little one.
Didn't quite get it.
Yep.
So Chris pretty much started sailing a lot later in life, getting into it, and he maybe suggested that we could, get on a someone else who has done that as well, who has thrived also in the sailing scene. So that's a fantastic suggestion, Chris. And the other one, Jay, and this pretty much is in your wheelhouse, my friend.
What's that?
Benjamin Day, old Daisy, sent a note through, heard you coming to town, and has basically said, look us up. I'm in Plymouth. I've got the Swan 53. Come on over for a beer and a barbie.
Yeah. I've been looking, I'll be honest.
Have you been successful?
I haven't found it. I don't actually. There's sort of little sort of marinas everywhere around here. It's quite difficult to identify. So I've been looking. I'll be 100% B-Day. I've been looking for you, bud. And I will continue. So Swan 53. I actually was speaking to someone the other day and said, have you seen a Swan 53 moored up close by? So I am feeling...
Unfortunately, at time of listening, Benjamin, you would have flown the coop by now, Jordan. So
it's true. But I did look. Yeah, the other one, boss. I've got here our mate Sean Wagner. One of our weekly contributors. I don't know. I've lost it. I don't know where I put it. But basically, he sent me a thing where the Jeep Wrangler, I guess they are. The Jeep, was how much better a Jeep is than a Defender.
We all know how much better they are at getting bogged, at not going up hills properly, at breaking down. They're a whole lot better, actually.
Yeah.
Really good.
I just wanted to get it out there. So I really need to get this set up, right, Wagner? So I bagged the crap out of Defenders, as we all know. But there's no way I'm going to rate one below a Jeep.
Below a Jeep.
That's
just
crazy
to be
talk.
100% clear.
That's crazy talk, mate.
Oh
dear.
Oh, beauty.
Ole, 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 ole. Feeling hot, hot, hot.
It's hot time with Bite.
Feeling hot, hot, hot.
The cricket's
Harry
jumped
Fisher.
in before that.
You've done it again.
You've done it
Barry.
again. All right.
Hey,
Okay.
mate. There's quite a bit going on. This is a bit of a mix of things. First of all, the 52s.
Oh, yes.
Big win by Phoenix.
And that's
Big
wow.
win.
Hey?
The first win that they've had, the Platinum family,
Yeah.
with none other than Slingsby
Yep.
calling the shots
Yep.
alongside our good mate Cameron Dunn. So, you know, the curse has worked again. Well done to the Phoenix team. Representing South Africa with quite a few South Africans on board. So, no, they've done a really fantastic job.
Fantastic.
And the biggest winning margin of the season thus far, and now leading overall.
A brilliant scoreline, well sailed. A few of the guys from here at SailGP are on board, so there's a bit of happiness. The Platinum family, great for our sport, been fantastic. Super happy to see that result, I'll be honest. And if Slingers, if you're listening, as you and I both know, I spent the whole day yesterday with your missus. I promise not to reveal some secrets that she has let out.
We'll save them for around Hobart time.
Yeah, that's right.
So Sled in second, Pravetza in third. After Pravetza had a little bit of an oopsie leading into the event, into the back of actually Phoenix's rib, I believe. But in not so, and again, this is alleged. This one, I hear the Super Series is on shaky ground for next year.
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, that's all I'm going to say for the time being. But I want to get a bit more detail on that, so I'll start digging out. Moving on to one of the hottest fleets getting around on Mockers. We've got Sam Davies' new boat rolled out the shed.
I haven't seen. Tell me more.
Let's say it's got foils.
Yep.
Bloody big ones. Let's say she's got a scour bow.
Oh, yeah. They've all got them. As much as they can do it.
They've all got them.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. And we are 100 days from the start of the route to Rum, so we're about to see some serious action out on the waters of out of France land. And worth mentioning, especially off the back of last week's episode with Meg, Justine Matreau has just come out with her boat, which, as it turns out, is Chirale 1. Jeremy. So she's running on the Bayou Racing banner, which is basically, so from a sponsor that has been with her on and off for many years, teamwork.net, I think it is. Check it out. She's fully into that, gearing up 2024 Vendée. I'm assuming she's still en route to Rum and everything. But congratulations, Justine, on that.
Yeah.
And let's not forget part of the 11th hour team and stuff. So, yeah.
Super happy to hear that. Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome. Super happy to hear that. So that's great news. Excellent. Oh, I can't wait.
Next I've got on the list here, Jordan, and I doubt the kind of a boat of this size we've seen such a number. Take a crack. How many Cape 31s part of Cows Week?
I'm going to say 31.
Well, it's probably on your mind because it is a Cape 31.
Yeah.
18 boats on the start line.
You know, I went with 31 for
That
31.
is amazing.
It is super cool.
Simply amazing. From a boat, the first boat built in 2017,
Yeah.
there is 18 boats on the start line in the UK this week coming up.
Yeah,
So,
cows coming up. Yeah, that's true. Everyone's getting fired up for cows. So, cool boats. Obviously, they've got the magic formula. Fun to sail, right number of crew.
Yeah. I mean, Mark was, when we had him on the show, again, I guess the curse is working. Like it's, they're just not necessarily, but a Cape 31 will definitely win out of those guys. Really cool to see so many cool boats. And I've been chatting to a few of the guys just sailing the one that's here in Sydney. And they sound like fun. Not only have we heard they sound like fun, the guys who sail them they can concur.
Yeah, cool.
Definitely fun.
Very cool. Sounds like we need to go for a yacht.
Correct. I think you're right.
Cool. Should we talk about all this SailGP stuff, mate?
Well, one last thing.
Okay, what have you got?
The Sydney to Gold Coast. Notes Sydney to Gold Coast.
Yes. Starts today, does it?
Put it this way: by the time we record our next episode, they'll probably still be at sea.
It's that light. Is that right?
Very light. I was chatting to Pato this morning. He's going north on the Ichiban. Literally 70% of the race course, they are on a J1.5, which is 6 to 10 knots. Upwind. They want to stay out of the East Coast current, so they're going to be bouncing
along
up
the
shore
coast,
all the way to Gold Coast in a 2 metre swell.
It's just the problem with that whole coastline. There's so many little rocky outcrops there, and
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's a bit of a navigator's game for sure. So, yeah.
A bit of Tobes action in the background.
Yeah, Tobes has come in to just brag about how he's won basketball or something.
Oh, cool,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, no, that'll be a tough one. Not fun for the punters there going up on that one. Yeah.
Not fun for the punters, not to mention not fun for a 30-ton 100-footer, of which the Andu is, ex-Comanche,
Should be sticky.
up against the slick toothpicks of Blackjack and Wild Oats, or Hamilton Island Wild Oats, they call it these days.
Oh, do they?
So, which is out of didn't go into retirement, but had been shut down for a good couple of years, but they've got her out, ready to roll. And from what I've seen thus far, they have the pedal to the metal.
Yes.
Doing about 7 knots compared to lowly 6 knots of the other 100-footers.
Yes.
So,
I think, it'll be a horrible race. Anyway, but at least they're going to the Gold Coast. So, nice classy place to head to. So it'll be unreal for them.
Exactly. Slip into your white pants before you arrive, put on the shades, and off you go.
I love it. Oh, dear. Cool.
Cool.
All right.
All right.
SailGP.
SailGP, my man.
Right, first one. First time ever. I've been pretty close to these things, right? Racing alongside them in boats. So I've done a lot of hours next to these things. First time ever, stationary in a rib the other day, and Pete Burling comes past at full noise within hand width from my shoulder at full noise. He's just grinning like a Cheshire cat, just skims the side of, I'm sitting on the outside of my rib, and just skims the side at full noise. Holy shit.
Was it like a magpie swooping you?
It was exactly what it was, because it's even
Like you
painted
don't
as-
hear it coming in and then...
Man. So it's insane. It is insane, and it's like at head height too, so it could just impale you. So,
Oh, Jesus. Fair enough. It would have, like a hand width from your scone, still a couple of feet from the boat, so that's not too bad.
Yep. Old mate Hugo, you remember Hugo from the Volvo Ocean Race? Yeah, he's doing social media for Canada, Team Canada now, right? Which is good, because he's a fantastic bloke. And Team Canada organised a challenge where they were set up painted some goals on one of the containers, and they had the New Zealand team and the Canadian team so you could outscore each other kicking soccer ball at a goal, right? And they were trying to do the social media post, and Hugo's standing there, and create a bit of atmosphere and stuff.
Yeah, a bit of content rolling. Yeah.
And I said, I've got the headline for you, Hughes. It's let's call it "Which country can handle their balls the best." So, So hopefully that's what.
And as it turns out, neither. Because if you do, you get a penalty in that particular game.
Yes. Team rumours. Okay. One.
Oh, what do you got?
Nath Outridge walked past me yesterday into the practice day, fully dressed in Swiss uniform.
Ooh.
So he's listed as the coach, but he had the most sailing gear on for any coach I've ever seen. Is all I'm saying. So Nath, well, everyone will know this by now, of course, because it's going after the race. But so Nath tied in. But the other rumour, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say any of this. I hope I don't get in trouble. So remember,
Just observations, right?
yeah, observations. So this may or may not occur. So there's a fully funded German team that's going to take the licence.
Germans,
Yep, I think from the Japanese one. And then I believe there's an Italian team lining up, fully funded Italian team, and maybe a team from the Bahamas with one Nathan in charge.
Okay.
The rumour is floating around, so it could be. I could have just made all that up and may not be true, but yeah.
Well, I guess it kind of, given Nathan is coach for the Swiss, he's on the fence as it is to start with, right? So he can just go either way.
Yeah, I love it. That's cool. And the only other one is there's a photo. We'll have to try and see if I can get my hand on the photo in the practice day. I'm not going to name names. Don't want to make anyone feel bad, but let's just say it was one of the two sailors that ran across before a manoeuvre. Team Canada. Mm-hmm. One of the sailors. So narrow it down.
Yeah.
The sailors run across at full noise across the tramp and just kept going over the side. Leash has grabbed them and they're pinned back against the side of the hull. Legs hanging down. Looks like they're super hiking on a TP50 Hick 2, but they're halfway down the side of the hull and they can't do anything because they're just held and sort of pinned back against. And the rest of the team are running across, and you can see in the photo Phil Robertson is just laughing his head off. So it's a fantastic photo. Yeah. So the Canadian sailor ejecting from the boat, but at least the safety leash system worked perfectly. So that was funny.
Word has it, there are a few seals on the course, just wanted to get a little bit closer. The club length wasn't long enough.
Another conversation that has happened, they were talking about the mammal protocol. And I just said, we've got the Canadian team in there. Just send them out, they get their clubs out.
I'll take care of them.
Oh, dear. But so they're the sort of rumours. So no sailing today. What I should discuss with you, let you know, just looking at the weather, it's going to be tough. So if I just pull up the weather for you guys, I was just having a bit of a look. So on today, which is the Saturday, as we're recording this, around race time, the forecast is southwest to west-southwest around 10 knots. Now, the problem with that is there's Drake's Island is in the middle of the course, and the wind, with any west in it, comes over that. So normally it's a southerly here, and it's not too bad, but that could actually impact it. And on the Sunday, if I look at the Sunday, looking at the forecast, and again, this has already happened, so kind of redundant, it's direct west, 10 to 11. Yeah, so gusts up to 17 or 18 knots, so there's a bit of pressure. On the form guide so far going in, yesterday the Spanish were looking the goods, but the Spanish were good, the Kiwis were good. The Kiwis looked to be really good, but they kept going the wrong way. There's a definite one side of the course was favouring yesterday, but the Kiwis kept purposely dropping out to the other side because I think they were just testing things. But yeah, it's the Aussies got penalties. I think they would have been right there. The British team were looking really hot too. So, but
do you think on a practice day, people are just trying stuff on?
Not normally because the way SailGP works,
it could count.
Yeah,
it could count if they lose the last day.
Yeah, if they lose a day, they substitute the practice day racing and videos.
Yeah,
in,
sure.
So I think they take it seriously, but I think there's no risk. There's definitely two races. The race is going to happen Saturday and Sunday. So I think, it was a little bit of experimenting going on. I saw a few things the Aussies did that I thought, they wouldn't do that in a race normally. So there was a little bit of trying things going on just to understand.
Did they try the Dino?
Yes. The other thing is just there's sort of like two big channels and there's a lot of tide. We're near a spring tide, so there's a lot of tide moving out there. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays. Easy to drop off foils. Sometimes if you're being pushed with the tide and the wind's not there, you can actually have no apparent coming out. So boom, straight down. So there's plenty going on for the sailors. So it'll be interesting. Be good fun.
Cool. Well, good luck, my man.
Yeah.
We'll be keeping a close eye on it.
Yeah.
And hope those guests have a good time.
Indeed. Oh, look, Just it'll be fun, and then of course next week's to Cork for the 505 World. So
505, fantastic.
Cool.
Maybe I'll give a few crossover stories next week.
I'll love it. I'll look forward to it, mate.
All right, and for the listener, we're dialing BP in specifically right now, just to get his guitar out. He's sitting on the back of the Lagoon 43 at the Sydney Boat Show, strumming a few tunes, and we're going to go live. Here he is, Mr. Brett Perry.
All my stars are out tonight. Take me where the